Recently, I've been getting a little bit of flack on Twitter for some of my, let's call them hot takes, and it's gotten to the point to where I'm literally getting death threats. And that is, what? It's a game. We play games, okay? I don't know why we gotta get serious and bring life and death into this, but I felt it was necessary to kind of explain everything because, good Lord, some people take this stuff a little too seriously. Recently on Twitter, I've been talking about how catering to Call of Duty's casual players is the best thing they can do to continue to have a game that thrives, continue to have a game that has a lot of players and things of that nature. And so I tweeted things out, and I've been getting people that quote tweet my stuff, really trashing me for my opinion, but I don't think the full picture is there for everyone to really discuss and understand, because you really only have 280 characters for a tweet. So before anybody gets mad in the comment section, please listen to this whole video, or at least a little bit more than normal, because I think it's necessary to understand that full picture. By the way, the first tweet is as follows. Warzone 2 is like playing Warzone 1 on easy mode. Don't listen to the Movement Kings or Rebirth Demons. It's all about playing strategically rather than running right at everyone. This is less of an arcade shooter and more of a traditional BR, positioning over everything. Now, while that's true, it is still an arcade shooter. You can pretty much just run and gun whatever you want. You're just not going to be rewarded like you were in game modes like Rebirth Island or even Caldera or Verdansk near the end of it. And there's a few reasons for it. That's what my next few tweets were about. So I said, "Dear Movement Kings, Warzone 2 is built to make their average player enjoy playing. Removing advanced movement, like I said, was crucial to ensuring the majority of players would continue to do so. Gain perspective and be less selfish. Otherwise, stay mad." The big thing in Warzone 1 was that first, the game started with a low time to kill. Very low time to kill. Almost the same as what we have now in Warzone 2, if not just a hair lighter. So when people think about Warzone 1, they really think about what happened at the end of Verdansk. That is the peak of Warzone 1. All these cheaters, all the slide canceling, all the Dragon's Breath shotguns, all the DMRs and stuff like that, and then the high time to kill. And it wasn't super high, to be clear. It was not super high. It got raised a little bit. And then once it got to Caldera, it got raised even more, as well as raised in Rebirth Island and Fortune's Keep. So that really never hit until later on. But the big thing is that advanced movement is really where there started to form a skill gap. And a skill gap is bad for games that are meant to be played casually. Okay, I'm not saying it's bad for me. Okay, that is very important to remember. I'm not saying it's bad for me, but it is bad for the casual player. So the next thing I said, similar to those lines, was Warzone 2's fast time to kill is crucial to its continued success. Normal players without 8 hours to play daily struggled to keep up in Warzone 1 because Raven continued to raise the time to kill. This instead welcomes everyone with open arms. Adapt your playstyle to include the low time to kill. Here's the deal. Call of Duty players are mad. They're just mad all the time. That's who we are. Heck, like it feels like content creators and people that play Call of Duty all the time are just irrationally angry, including myself. I'll admit it. I definitely get upset very often over really stupid things. But like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not making death threats to people. Okay, that's a weird thing to do. Let's not do that over a video game that you probably spend a fair amount of your time on that you shouldn't be. Instead, maybe doing something a little bit better with your time. But that's a whole different story. You do whatever you want, just don't take it out on other people whenever it doesn't go your way. So the reason I mention the low time to kill isn't because I personally get something out of it. It would be better for me if it was a higher time to kill, because I actually know how to aim, right? But the low time to kill means that the barrier to entry for any player is very low. They can hop in and sit in a corner because they're scared to push anybody. And once somebody walks into the building, it's an easy kill, right? They have the opportunity to get those eliminations. Alternatively, when they camp it out for the entire match, they can get to the end of the game. They can be sitting in a bush. They see the one guy they need to eliminate for the entire match. They shoot him. They win. They get a win. But in the original Warzone, the time to kill, it was so high that if they caught someone out in the open doing something dumb and they tried to capitalize on their enemy's mistakes, It wasn't possible because those enemies would slip and slide all the way around and bunny hopping and skipping through the daisies like a mother trucker, and they'd have no opportunity to shoot them because what are you supposed to do? You're like freaking moving your gun around. It's not possible. It's not possible. That's why me as a top 1% player, not because I'm trying to be arrogant, but because that's realistic, it would be better for me if it was a higher time to kill. But that doesn't mean that it's better for everyone because I make up the top 1%. In the top 3%, a 1.2 KD, which seems ridiculously low, but the reality is most of these guys aren't even on YouTube. They're not on Twitter. They're not on Twitch. They're not on any of these websites. The average dude that watches me, they catch me while they're going number 2 in the restroom. They catch me while they're sitting on their lunch break, or they'll catch me when they get home for a couple of minutes if they can't actually play the game. That's when the casual gamer's watching me. These casual gamers are not the dudes that are sitting on Twitter and sitting on Twitch for hours a day. I mean, there's a few of them on Twitch, but on Twitter, it's unlikely, especially on Twitter because everybody's very angry on Twitter, and that's just something that people are going to cut out. They'd rather probably be on Facebook. That was a joke. So because of this, I had an account that for some reason always tries to like talk trash about me, even though I've never had any interaction with them ever, and they tried to catch me in a contradiction, is what it was. So they took a screenshot of some tweets on my account whenever the Iron Trials mode was out for Warzone 1 in Verdansk and said, quote, "That's crazy." The screenshot they had of me saying, first, Iron Trials is the most fun I've ever had on Warzone. It genuinely adds a skill gap to the game, and that makes me very happy. No more cheesy kills, only skill. My second tweet was genuinely don't want to play anything but Iron Trials. And the third tweet, dear @Raven Software, please do me the kindest favor of keeping some version of the Iron Trials mode in Warzone permanently. Sincerely, some guy who's very tired of dying in 3 bullets to some scrub sitting in a corner. And I think that's fair. And I'm not saying that I think there should be a skill gap in the made mode. I'm saying I think that there should be a skill gap in a mode that is there for people to be able to take advantage of a skill gap, which is Iron Trials, which would also include ranked. I think that there should absolutely be a place that people can hop in, and if they're higher skilled players, they can dominate the other lower skilled players. But I don't think that's going to be in the regular casual mode. Just like, personally, I also don't believe that there should be skill-based matchmaking. I think it should be all ping-based and stuff like that. And then it's going to be a little bit more fair across the board because everybody has to learn to fight everybody. But it is what it is. That's not there for the money. I have a lot of different things that work up in my head that aren't necessarily best for the game. But it might be my opinion. Okay, I got a lot of different opinions. They're not going to be agreed on by everyone. It is what it is. Like, it doesn't mean that I'm contradicting myself, though. So I responded to El Ghosto, and I said, I didn't say I don't have more fun. I said it was better for the game, which if you look back at the other tweet, I did say that. I said it would be better for the game if there was a lower time to kill so that the scrubs could do better, so that the casual players could have a little bit more fun, right? And I followed through and I said, I'm a sweaty little nerd with a 3.6 KD that slide canceled 24/7 in Warzone 1. My point stands. I also think if ranked is added, there should be a higher TTK in that mode. And I followed it up by saying, you literally proved nothing in this tweet because truthfully, there was nothing that could be proved. Of course, they went on to be like, oh, you're going to get invited to that Activision thing one day. Brother, let me tell you, the only thing I've ever been invited to by Activision is to play Caldera early. And personally, I don't think they're ever going to invite me to anything. Let's just be real here. I've done this for 10 years and I've not been invited to one event that was in person. I'm not making these tweets for them. I'm making them for my audience. Hate to tell you, buddy. So just know I'm always going to be open and honest. It is what it is. You can hate my opinions. You can like my opinions. It doesn't matter to me. Of course, I followed it up by tweeting something else, which was, what's best for COD is not necessarily most fun for me. And I know that. Higher TTK helps me because I can aim. Advanced movement helps me because I can easily learn it. I have the time to put in to learn all of these things because I do this for a living. Everyone's angry that I've said they should cater to casuals, but they're the lifeline for Call of Duty. Of course, I'd prefer things like a high TTK and advanced movement because it means I get to win more games. However, it also means the casual gamer will get tired of playing much more quickly and the game would die much faster. Again, it's all about perspective. I followed it up by kind of explaining myself. I said, my audience is made of mostly casual gamers, and my job is to support them the same way they support me. I've read comments on my content, and they're for the most part, other than bugs, in love with Warzone 2. This is after most left during Warzone or at the end of Verdansk. I think the big problem with these tweets is that people tend to be more vocal whenever there's something wrong. If you think about things like leaving a review at a restaurant, the only time you're going to leave a review at a restaurant is when you're pretty upset with it, unless someone at the restaurant asks you to leave a review. You're only going to say something like, oh, the food was terrible, if you felt that way personally. You're not going to be, oh man, I really loved it, I'm going to leave them a review on TripAdvisor. That's just, it's not going to happen. Let's be honest. It doesn't happen. Luckily, I have a girlfriend, Brooke, that takes care of that for us. She says very nice things for everyone, and I'm very appreciative that she's that kind of person, but I would probably just leave a review that was negative because I'm kind of a piece of garbage, just like the rest of everyone else. So, of course, my tweets, while they got well over 2 million impressions, which is ridiculous for a bunch of tweets that I just said for the sake of people to see perspective, but of course perspective is hard out here in the world. They got over 2 million impressions. 2 million people saw these tweets. While the comments were half and half, there were a ton of interactions with it, whether it be likes or quote tweets of people saying it to their friends and stuff like that. And it's because people love this game. Casual gamers love this, and casual people are less likely to interact. They just are. I'm more casual whenever it comes to content creation because I don't ever comment on people's YouTube videos. It sucks for me because I love to interact with people more, but I don't do it. It makes me like a casual viewer. And so I, as a creator, have to be able to see through all these like comments of people being mad and recognize that it's not just the vocal minority that matters, because we are the 3%. We are that top 3% that doesn't affect the bottom dollar of Activision. So they, Activision, need to focus on the 97%, the players that are spending the most money. And while a lot of people may not believe that they are spending the most money, you need to think of it this way. For every one sweat that buys 100 skins, there's 1,000 casuals that buys 5 skins. So that's 5,000 versus like 100. You know, you have to really think of it in that perspective, because the likelihood of one person having a ton of money versus a few people having a little bit of money is completely different. And the reason these people that are not sweats are buying these skins is because they don't have the time to level these guns and they need to get the attachments. It's the same reason that videos about leveling guns goes viral. No one wants to spend all their time leveling attachments. They just want to have fun and play the game with their friends. There's so many things that most people just don't have self-awareness and perspective for, and I genuinely hope that this video has helped in some way. Please, 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 if you are someone that's loving this game, I want to hear about your experience. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear about your experience in a comment down below. I want to know everything I can about my audience because I want to continue to create content for that audience so that I can be valuable to you guys the same way that you all take care of me. So if you enjoyed or you learned something, please subscribe to the channel. If you agree with my opinions, definitely subscribe to the channel because you probably enjoy it here. Have a great day.